No matter what position you guys are, I got y'all with the best build in NBA 2K22 Next Gen. But first, if you're looking for somebody to grind your badges, hit up Elite Badge Grinding. They're super fast and 100% legit. Click their links in the description and let them know Hambo sent you. Also, if you could do me a really quick favor and scroll down and smash that big red subscribe button as well as like the video, that would be greatly appreciated. So as you guys can see, we are in the My Player Builder, and for this first build, we are going to be going over the point guard build. Onto the body settings, let's start things off by dropping down our height to 5'10". As you guys may already know, short builds are the meta in this game since you have a super high three-pointer, super good playmaking badges, and you are super duper fast. For the weight, we're also going to drop this down all the way to minimum. This way, as you guys can see, we can have a 98 speed and acceleration. And then for the wingspan, we're going to drop this down to 6 foot. I mean, just look at our three-pointer now. It's at a 99. On the attribute screen, let's start things off by upgrading our shooting. First, let's go ahead and max out our three-pointer and then upgrade our mid-range to a 94. As you guys can see, our close shot is also brought up to a 64, which is completely fine. For the playmaking, you're going to want to basically max out ball handle and speed with ball. Actually, we're going to have both of these at 96s. And then we're also going to upgrade our pass hack to a 94 so we can have 38 playmaking badges. For our defensive / rebounding, the only things that really matter for a point guard is perimeter defense and steal. So we're going to upgrade our perimeter defense to max, and we're also going to upgrade our steal to a 98. As you can see, we'll have 21 defensive badges. And then finally, on to physicals, you're going to want to go ahead and max out speed, acceleration, and stamina. Now with the last few attributes, you can honestly go wherever you want. You can go defensive rebound, get another defensive badge. You could go with max block and max steal to have better interior presence. You could go with close shot and have 5 finishing badges. But what I think I'm going to go ahead and do is max out free throw and then upgrade your block to a 50. This way, if I ever do plan on going in Pro-Am or Rec Center, I'm able to hit free throws. And if I ever do have to stop a rim runner, I can kind of do this. Moving on to the takeovers. For the first takeover, I would recommend going with limitless range. And then for the secondary takeover, we're going with double sharp take, so spot up precision. And as you guys can see, we have built a PLAYSHOT, which is kind of an accurate name. Moving on to the shooting guard build. On to the second build of today's video. This is going to be a shooting guard build. So of course, your position does have to be a shooting guard. For our body settings, we're going to go ahead and bump up our height 1 to 6'6". As you guys can see, we don't lose any shooting, which is absolutely amazing. And also, being taller is super helpful for defense and finishing. For our weight, we're going to go ahead and drop this down to 2 minimum at 180, just to be as quick as possible. And then finally, for our wingspan, we're going to drop this down to 6'9" to give us a little bit better shooting. As you guys can see, we are on the attribute screen. What you're going to want to go ahead and start off by doing is upgrade your driving dunk to a 92. 92 gives you all of the contact dunk packages in this game, so it's absolutely perfect. We'll come back to shooting in a second, but what I want to go ahead and do first is upgrade our shooting. We're going to start by maxing out three-pointer and upgrading our mid-range to an 86. And then as I said, we're going to come back to finishing and we're going to upgrade our close shot to a 59. For our playmaking badges, we're going to start things off by maxing out our ball handle and upgrading our speed with ball to an 83. I know you guys might think we need pass accuracy, but on this build, you're never going to be facilitating at all. You're an off-the-guard shooting guard build, so pretty much whenever you get the ball, you're either going to be rim running, shooting, or running back to your guard to do a handoff. For our defensive / rebounding, now I'm going to upgrade this kind of weirdly. First, for the perimeter defense, you're going to want to go ahead and upgrade this to an 89. And then second, scrolling down to steal, upgrade this to a 90. You will still have Hall of Fame interceptor. For block, you're going to want to put this up to a 70. And then for both rebounding, you're going to want offensive rebound at a 72 and defensive rebound at a 75. In total, you'll have 26 defensive badges, which means you can be the primary lockdown on your team if there isn't a better lock already. For our physicals, let's start things off by maxing out both speed and acceleration. And then let's also upgrade our vertical to an 80. This way we can get elite contact dunks. And then with whatever attributes you do have left, go ahead and throw these onto stamina. You do have one rating that you just have to throw in free throw, so just go ahead and do that. If you do want free throw on this build, what I would recommend going ahead and doing is dropping down your offensive rebound to a 57. You'll still have 24 defensive badges, but as you guys can see, you can also get a 92 free throw. It's up to you whether or not you want to do this. If you play Rec Center or Pro-Am, then you have to do this. If not, then I wouldn't recommend doing it. Overall, this build doesn't have like the most badges in the game or anything, but you're able to play your role really well. What makes it super good is that it has absolutely insane shooting and defense. On to the takeovers. First, I would recommend going with a limitless range, and then for the second takeover, I would go with extreme clamps since you are kind of like a lockdown. And as you guys can see, I've built a two-way scoring machine, which is kind of an accurate name actually. Moving on to build number 3. For build number 3, this is going to be a small forward build. Starting things off with the body settings, let's upgrade our height to 6'8". As you can see, our 3-point rating actually goes up, and you're just way better on the defensive end as a 6'8". For the weight, I recommend dropping this down to 185. This is minimum, and this way you're just as quick as possible. And then for the wingspan, you're actually going to upgrade this not to max, but to 7'4". This way you can have 80 ball handle, and this way you can get the next tier of dribble moves. Let's start things off by upgrading our driving dunk to a 92. This way you can have elite contact dunks. And then after that, let's go ahead and upgrade our driving lay to an 86. You'll have 17 finishing badges. But we aren't done. We're also going to upgrade our close shot to a 73, putting us at 21. On to shooting, you're going to want to max out your 3-pointer and upgrade your mid-range to an 82. You'll have 24 shooting badges. For playmaking, you're going to want to max out ball handle and basically max out speed with ball. You're going to put this at a 73. And then finally, for pass accuracy, go ahead and upgrade this to an 89. You'll have 25 playmaking badges. Moving on to the defensive / rebounding, this is going to be where this build really shines through since this is kind of like a pure lock. Now again, I'm going to upgrade this kind of weirdly, but trust me, you just have to do it like this. First, I'd recommend upgrading your perimeter defense to an 86. Then upgrade your steal to an 82. Next, for block, you're going to want to go ahead and upgrade this basically to max, but to 89. And then for O-rebound, you're going to want this on 81. And then for defensive rebound, put this on 88. And you should have 29 defensive badges. And then finally, for our physicals, you're going to start things off by upgrading your speed to max and then upgrade your excel to max as well. You're also going to want your vert at 80. This way you can unlock more contact dunk packages. And then finally, throw all those ratings onto stamina and you'll have a 90 stamina, which is more than good enough. You do have 3 ratings that you can put onto free throw, but I think for most of you guys, that's probably not good enough. All you simply have to do to upgrade your free throw is drop your pass accuracy down a little bit. You'll still have 24 playmaking badges, which is more than good enough. And then if you throw all of those ratings onto free throw, you'll have a 97. You do have just like a few ratings. You can put these wherever you want, but personally, I'm going to throw them onto stamina. As you can see, we have 21, 24, 24, and 29. This comes out to 98 badges, which is a ton, but trust me, our next build is going to have way more than this. Overall, you're able to do everything at an elite level, and your defense is just insane, especially since you are kind of a big body. Onto the takeovers. For the first takeover, I recommend going with extreme clamps since you are a lock. And then for takeover number 2, I recommend going with finishing moves. Sadly, you don't get sharp take on this build. And then as you guys can see, I built a 2-way facilitator. It's kind of weird. I wasn't even able to unlock playmaking takeover, but for some reason I have facilitator in my name. Moving on to build number 4. This is going to be a power forward build. Now I want this to kind of be like a stretch or a point forward. So I'm going to go ahead and drop our height down 1 rating to 6'8". Next, for the weight, we're also going to drop this down to minimum. This way we are just as quick as possible. And then we're also going to drop our wingspan down to 6'11". You guys can see our 3-pointer goes up a ton. Now I already know what you guys are going to say. This build is smaller than your small forward build. Now for me personally, that doesn't really matter. I was just focused on making the best build per position, and I wasn't really focused on how each build plays with each other. And also, I want this to be a stretch, and I don't think a stretch 3 is a thing. On the attributes screen, I would recommend by starting off by upgrading your driving dunk to an 85. Next, you're going to want to go ahead and upgrade your driving layup to an 82. And then scrolling down 2 ratings to standing dunk, you're going to want to bump this up to an 81. Finally, for your close shot, you're going to want to go ahead and bump this up to a 79. And in total, you'll have 26 finishing badges. For shooting, I would recommend going ahead and upgrading both mid-range and three-pointer to 85 apiece. This way, you will have 28 shooting badges, which is absolutely a ton. Even though your three-point rating isn't super high or anything, you're definitely going to be able to shoot the lights out of the building. For playmaking, I would recommend basically maxing out both ball handle and speed of the ball. You're actually going to want your ball handle at an 81 and your speed of the ball at a 69. And then you're also going to want to upgrade your pass act to an 89. You'll have 25 playmaking badges. For our defensive slash rebounding, we're going to start things off by maxing out our perimeter defense. Next, we're going to upgrade our steal to a 73 and max out our block. And then for the rebounding, you're going to want your offensive rebound at a 74 and your defensive rebound at an 83. In total, you'll have a 25 defensive badges, which is more than good enough for this build. And then scrolling down to our physicals, you're going to want to go ahead and max out your speed and acceleration. Then you're going to want to go ahead and upgrade your vertical to a 75 so you can get the next tier of dunk packages, I guess. And then finally, you're going to want to go ahead, throw those ratings on to stamina. You'll have a 96 stamina, which is super good. In total, this build has 26, 28, 25, and 25, which comes out to 104 badges, which I'm not going to lie, is crazy. Onto the build variation with free throw. All you have to do for this build is drop your driving layup to a 77 and then scroll all the way down here to speed and drop this down 1 rating. If you throw all of those ratings onto free throw, you're able to get an 85, which is more than good enough to be able to hit free throws consistently. Overall, this build is going to be a really cheesy, really toxic, really fun build. It's way too big for guards to be able to guard you, and it's way too quick for big men to be able to guard you. If you combo this with a tall shooting center, that might be the best lineup in this entire game. What I'd recommend doing for your primary takeover is go with limitless range, and then for your secondary takeover, I'd recommend going with spot up precision, since this is kind of like a very good shooting build. And as you guys can see, I built a stretch, a playmaker. Moving on to build number 5. Okay, so for the 5th build of today's video, this is going to be our center build. For your height, weight, and wingspan, I would recommend dropping down your height to 6'9". Overall, your attributes just go up so much, it's 100% worth the couple of inches that you do lose. For the weight, you're going to want to leave this default. This way you can have a 99 defensive and offensive rebound, and you're just not super slow. And then for the wingspan, of course, you're going to need to go ahead and max this out. This way you just have the best defense possible. Moving on to our attributes, let's go ahead and start things off by upgrading our finishing attributes. For the close shot, you're going to want this at a 94. Next, you're going to want your driving layup at basically max, actually at a 89. You're going to want to go ahead and max out your driving dunk and then bump up your standing dunk to a 98. And finally, for your post control, you're going to want this at a 95. Upgrading like this might seem a little bit weird, but trust me, you have to do this to maximize the amount of badges that you can get on this build. For now, we're actually going to skip shooting, just go straight to playmaking, and you're going to want to start things off by upgrading your pass accuracy to an 85. That's pretty much all you need to do. Speed of the ball and ball handle don't matter on this build at all. This is really important to throw down court passes or to hit open shooters. In total, you will have 11 playmaking badges. For the defensive slash rebounding, again, I'm going to upgrade this kind of weirdly, but trust me, you just have to do it like this. So first, for the interior defense, you're going to want this at a 90. Next, you're going to want your perimeter defense at a 78. And then scrolling down to steal, you're also going to want this at a 78. Scrolling down to block, you're going to want to go ahead and upgrade this to a 97. And then for O rebound, you're going to want this at a 94. And for defensive rebound, you're going to want this at a 99. In total, you'll have 38 defensive slash rebounding badges. Overall, the defense on this build is absolutely insane. You can even guard ball handlers on this build if you want to. Scrolling down to your physicals, you're going to want to go ahead and start things off by maxing out speed, acceleration, vertical, and stamina. With the rest of your attributes, I recommend throwing them on free throw. This way you are able to make free throws in rec center or pro-am. And then with the rest of your attributes, I would just recommend throwing them on steal. I think that's the best thing to upgrade. In total, this build has 86 badges, which isn't like crazy or anything, but it's able to do everything you need it to be able to do. It's absolutely insane finishing and defense, as well as its physicals are pretty much maxed out, and you do have really good facilitating as well. For the takeovers, I would recommend starting things off with See the Future. You are a center build, you 100% do need this. And then for takeover number 2, I would recommend going with Stuffed Blocks. And as you guys can see, I have built a versatile paint beast. At this point, every center gets this name. I mean, like, pretty much all the center builds I've made so far have a versatile paint beast name, but it is what it is. And with that being said, that is going to wrap it up for the video. If you found the video helpful or enjoyed it, scroll down, drop me a like, and also subscribe to the channel so you can be notified next time I'm dropping some more gems on y'all. If you guys want to know the best badges in the game, click one of the videos on the screen right now. Go follow me on Twitter, and I'm out. Peace.